just let you go. I've realized my faults, I know nothing at all. Can you please just let me know all the feelings you don't show? You're not in a place to look at me in my face and say why you did what you did. You know I was just a kid, so don't lie.
Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening. This is more than just a podcast. And that wasn't our usual theme tune, but I'm going to ask the father and the brother to explain who that was. John, where are you? What are you doing? And what was that?
What was that?
What
was that? I'm at home doing a podcast with views, and that was my daughter's latest release on Spotify, on Amazon, on Apple Music, on YouTube. Yeah.
What's it called?
It's called Can't Say, and it's her latest tune.
Why not?
And she's a hammer. Come on, you
So,
irons.
My favourite one of hers so far.
Good.
Why can't you
you
say?
must like them all. You're a father. You're legally obliged.
I like them all, but it's my favourite one.
Good. I like it too. I can say that unbiasedly. It's her best yet.
Well, I'd like to think you're a little bit biased, sure.
I'm a little biased.
Yeah, you did. I've known her since she was born.
Shit. No, it's really good. I like it. I've played it independently to people, and people go, "Yeah, that's really cool." How about her brother, George? Where are you? What are you doing?
I am in my front room recording a podcast with views, and I am the brother of Rosanna, who has just released that song.
Yeah. Are you biased?
Yeah.
Is it her best yet, or were you a party mood fan?
I think it is her best yet.
Good. Yeah, we're all agreed. Yeah. There you go. We agree at the beginning of a podcast. We agree.
Hey.
It's season 12, episode 19, I think. We're back just before the break. Unfortunately, no Nigel tonight. He's not cowardly. He is on holiday in Plymouth or somewhere. I can't remember where. And no Len tonight. And he's not being cowardly or brave. He had some work thing to do. We have invited him. He might pop in and might go, hello. But then he might get him
probably go Brady out.
Brady out, yeah. So, this time last week, we were talking about what happens if we lost the next two games. And guess what happened, John?
We lost the last two games.
Yeah. So, before we get...
As predicted.
Before
George,
we get to that,
I didn't think it would be as bad as this.
Let's talk about those two games. Obviously, we played in the Caribou Cup, the Old Milk Cup, the League Cup, against Blackburn Rovers. Blackburn Rovers changed 11 people, and they were singing on the night.
See, that's the worst part about it, isn't it?
They changed
the fact
11,
that they changed their whole team.
and they sang to you. We left our. I think what's the chant they were singing? We left our first team at home. How shit must you be? We left our first team at home. That was a song they were singing. It was quite amusing, and it was true. Now I know it wasn't televised and it wasn't streamed, and I made the fateful decision. I know Nigel didn't go in the end, and nor did Len, but I made the fateful decision to go. And maybe I shouldn't have done, but I just thought, look, there's going to be 6 weeks without football. Let's go. 40,000 turned up. Well, 40,000 bought tickets. It looked a lot less than 40,000 that turned up on the night. And look, I know you two. I'm going to come to you because I hope you saw the highlights. We made a go of it, right?
You can live in hope.
You know we didn't see the highlights.
Yeah, you can live in hope, sure.
We made a go at it, but it just didn't.
Sean, let's cut to the chase. How was the game? Tell me what you think about it, because you were the only one who's seen it. What do you think of the game, Sean?
I thought we were a bit unlucky, to be honest. And when we scored the goal, I did think, I mean, obviously 4 hours, what's that? 3 goals in 2 games. I did think that would be enough. And of course, on comes, and it's almost written in history. On comes Sammy, who I was talking about last weekend. Sammy, some foreign name I can't remember, who was a
Some
West Ham,
foreign name. Some foreign name I can't remember.
who's a West Ham. It turns out he's not just a West Ham fan; he's a West Ham season ticket holder. Um,
Good
and
on him.
I did watch the penalties actually because you were live streaming them.
yeah, I was, and he came out and gave an assist, and they scored just before, obviously, in the last 10 minutes. And do you know what? At that point, and I knew it wasn't going to extra time. I knew it was going to go straight to penalties. Thank God, because we would have been there all night. I just knew we were going to lose, and as you say, I decided to live stream it, and I don't know what. First of all, you saw some of it, George. So you can join in here. I expected Ariola to get to at least one of them or go the right way.
Yeah, there wasn't any. I didn't look like missing any of them.
I had to zoom in though. I was too far away to
Yeah,
begin with.
I only really saw the end view. That I saw the one we missed. Yeah, I mean they weren't that bad penalties all round, were they? But there was just that obviously.
Well, what was it?
The decider.
We scored 9. They scored 10.
Yeah. And according to Sky Sports, we won.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
Yeah, which confused the hell out of me. I was following it virtually via your sort of WhatsApp show, basically.
Yeah.
And then I went on there to look at the result. I was like, well, ain't that bad. A win's a win. Well, what are you talking about?
Were you being serious when you
Yeah,
said that?
no, I was being serious. And everyone's got, what are you talking about?
Well, I thought I celebrated it like it went in. So sorry, I mentioned Fornals. I didn't mention Antonio who scored on 78, and obviously that was the one where I thought 12 minutes to go, we'd won it, and they scored on 88. But yeah, I mean penalties. I felt sorry for Antonio, and I was at the wrong end, even though I was zooming in. I did think it hit the bar and went the right side, and I celebrated it. And I think you said at the time, George, he's missed it, don't you?
Yeah.
And you were even watching on my stream.
Yeah, I was.
And you noticed he missed
I
it.
knew.
Well, I worked out something was wrong when they all came, all of Blackburn came running on the pitch. I thought, why are they running on the pitch? But do you know what? I wasn't too bothered. I thought, well, okay, one less game to come to on a night,
Well, that's one cup out of the way. I mean, all our sort of eggs are in that basket of the Europa Conference League,
yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
it
let's
is.
face
but
it.
I hope we give the FA Cup a bit more of a go. But it was.
I can't see it, Sean.
I know you can't.
I honestly, I genuinely, all our eggs are in that Conference League, and that's our saving grace this season. If we do well in that and finish somewhere above the relegation zone, then that's our season.
You know when it goes to penalties, it's a flip of a coin, and unfortunately it fell for Oggy, and I felt sorry for Bonner that he was the one to miss. But it was being set up. The next people after that, George, who were they?
Probably the keepers, weren't
Yeah, the keepers. So, I was hoping Ariola would do Adrian. Take his gloves off and
run around.
That was good, wasn't it? When he took his gloves off.
Yeah, he was mad, didn't he?
But it wasn't to be. And I walked away not too disappointed. Look, let me do a stat attack. West Ham actually had more possession, 52% to their 48. This is the big one. We had 22 shots, 5 on target. They had 6 shots, 4 on target. They were obviously just more clinical. 2 of their shots on target went in. This is the big stat for me, and this is where we don't capitalise. How many corners do you think we had, George?
13.
15.
Oof, nearly.
15 bloody corners. We just, there used to be, and this is what the commentators say all the time, don't they? Oh, West Ham are pretty deadly.
No, they always used to be.
2 years ago.
They always used to bring that graphic up every time we had a set piece.
Well, they still talk about it. West Ham are deadly. No,
we haven't scored a set piece this season, have we?
I think we scored 1. From a corner. I don't know what else is there to say. It meant more to them. you know, their youth team wanted. We didn't, for whatever reason, you know, he didn't want to start the youngsters again.
Probably because he knew. Well, he should have won it.
Well, you know, it had Areola obviously
Needed to win
in
it.
goal. You had Johnson, Agurt, and Adbonner at the back with back three. You had Sufal, Coventry, Lanzini, Emerson, who got a broken nose, and obviously he's gone out the Italy team now. I know they're not in the World Cup, but
They're not
well, they
there.
were due to play 2 friendlies, so he's been withdrawn from the Italy team.
Well, he's
so.
probably pleased about that, isn't he?
And up front, you had Antonio, Downs, and Fornells. Yeah, he probably is actually figured, I want to rest.
Downs is flying up front.
And of course, you know, you had Ben Rama come on 65 for Coventry. You had Bowen come on at 77 with Skamaka. So you got your wish. Skamaka and Antonio and Bowen were all on the same field for at least
10
13
minutes.
Woohoo! And then Cresswell came on for Emerson, who was obviously suffering from a broken nose. Played on, I think got injured quite early. And that bloke, the West Ham supporter, Smodix or whatever his name is, who came on 59, not only scored against us, set up the assist for the equaliser, he only went and scored his penalty.
Yeah.
If he's a true West Ham fan, wouldn't he just miss it?
He's a professional footballer.
Yeah, but he's a season ticket holder. Wouldn't he just go, accidentally?
It'd probably be another game he'd miss.
It makes no odds to him, does it? Be honest with you. If he'd have missed it and we'd have won this, we'd have gone out in the next round.
Yeah,
it's like, you know, he's a West Ham fan. He knows the score.
Yeah. Anyway, I wasn't too worried about that one. Back on Saturday.
I'll tell you what was funny, actually.
Go on.
Their A team got stuffed by Burnley this weekend.
Oh, did they? Yeah, well, that's why they were resting their players, of course, John. They were resting their players for the Burnley game.
Yep. So, there you go.
And they got stuffed, so it wasn't worth it in the end.
No.
Then we played Leicester City. Now, I was really looking forward to this because not only there was this sort of end-of-season vibe, right?
Well, you'd look that way. Some of the messages you were throwing out there were hilarious. And you clearly was on it, weren't you?
I was on it, and I went to my daughter came with me and my son. He's about to turn 16 in 2 days' time, so we had a few beers, you know, introducing him to a few beers at the supporters club. And we got to the supporters club early, about 1 o'clock.
So, do you want to clarify that, John?
What?
You introduced him. You didn't give him any, obviously. You introduced him to a few beers, yeah.
Yeah, I went here beer.
Yeah,
well, why can't he have beer?
Because he's 16.
It's allowed at 16, is it not? If you have a meal.
No.
If he has a meal, yeah.
If they're licensed for food, then, yeah.
Yeah, had a salt beef bagel, so that counts, and he's allowed one with his meal. I think that is legal.
Okay.
Anyway, we met up with Canning Town Lane, and we met up with Stelios and Dodsey and Mark and Carmel and Keith. And the sun was shining, right? It was a Saturday. It was 3 o'clock. I think this is the only second 3 o'clock.
Nice.
The beer's 15. Carling is £15 for a 4-pint jug. Do you know how many pints in a 4-pint jug?
3.75.
Yeah, it's 4. It shocked me, that one. It's like a trick question, but it's not. It is 4. And we had a few of them.
Well, you say Carling, it's not really beer, is it? But...
True. That is true. Yeah, it was just a nice day. It was nice.
Obviously.
What?
So it worked for you.
Worked for you.
Yeah, obviously did. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. I did peak too early. You know me, John. You know me.
I do know you, Sean.
I did peak too early, and
we've lost you on many occasions.
I'd had. Well, you know what I'm like. So I had 4 pints before kick off. And what does that mean if I have 4 pints before kick off?
That's a game over, really.
But I didn't stop then because I have no filter. So at half time I had another 2 pints myself. No one else wanted a drink. So I went to the bar outside on the concourse, ordered 2 pints and just downed them straight away.
What
Seemed
was
like
it?
A good idea at the time.
Amstel,
yeah, in the
nice.
yeah. Anyway, we didn't get off to the best of starts, did we? you know what? To be fair to him, right, to Moyes, he did look like we were going to go for it, right? I can't remember if you remember the lineup, but Fabianski was back. You had Kira, you had Dawson, Zuma, Cresswell, Souček and Rice were back, and of course people grown with Souček starting again. But to be expected, you had Bowen.
Why is it
Paquetá.
expected? Sorry, why is that expected?
What?
If you're
Because
losing,
that's what he does. He's a stubborn little bastard.
No,
and
but if
he
you're
wants to-
losing and you're struggling,
yeah, I would have started with Downs. Yeah, I would have
why are you?
absolutely
Why
started
is
with Downs.
Souček? It's not expected, is it? That's the deal.
Um,
That's the criticism.
And apart from Souček, you thought, yeah, that's your expected team. It's predicted 4-2-3-1. We did go for
obviously
it.
no Antonio was there. Where he was.
Antonio had a virus. And there was rumours around it was personal reasons, and I think Tony Gadd had said that on commentary, but that was not true. One of these many rumours going around social media.
Everyone's okay then, yeah?
Everyone is okay. There was no personal reasons. Don't start. There were also rumours there was an emergency board meeting that Moyes was going to get sacked over the weekend, that Tuchel had turned down the job and so had Pochettino. All bullshit, by the way. All bullshit. But more of that later.
Pochettino might have, but I've never heard of Tuchel. Is that Tuchel?
Oh, well, what's his name then?
Tuchel, isn't it? Or
What's the
Tuchel?
difference? Sounds the same. You're saying the same name to me.
I think some people
Tuchel.
say it's
Tuchel.
Tuchel.
Is it too cool?
I don't
All
know.
right, you know what I meant.
Yeah. I don't
hear
think
Bob's
I.
might be available.
Well, anyway, we'll talk about that in a while.
Yeah. So we went for it. The good thing I noticed, and I was actually on time after the last. It was funny. I did video this. The what's it called? What's the bugle when they do it? The
Last post.
last post. That's it. I was going to say last stand. Last post. Death of our
Of
season.
course you were. Yeah.
So, we did go for it. I was really surprised in the first 5 minutes. We actually got in their half, and for the first 8 minutes, it appeared that we were going to play a game. And then, of course, we conceded a goal.
We did.
What happened, John? You saw it. You were watching. This is a game you did watch.
I did watch.
Well,
to be fair,
it went
we
against
did-
run of play, I thought.
we did come out. We did start better than we probably started all season, but they did score a good goal, And Maddison, he's touching the build up, and it was a good finish. But
It was, wasn't it? He went off injured after that, didn't he?
he did go off injured not long after that, and everyone was talking about. But I think he turned up today for. If anyone's worried or concerned about
God.
England.
Do you know what? I can't get excited about the World Cup.
No, I haven't quite got my head around it, but yeah, I think he turned up.
He posted today, Sunday, to say it was just a precautionary thing.
Oh,
and
of
it was all
course.
So-
I did wonder whether, some of the players would not be going in as hard thinking about the World Cup.
Well, I can accept that as well. I did think that, but I think that was probably Declan Rice's best performance. He was driving and he was grabbing and he was really looked like he was at it on Saturday.
He doesn't strike me as someone who would avoid to get injured either. To
No.
be fair.
And he looked better than he has done probably all season. He hasn't had, his stats will probably tell you, but he hasn't had.
He's had a couple of good games. He's had a couple of games. Liverpool away, he was incredible.
Yeah.
I think he must be getting so frustrated, mustn't he? If you think about it, it's just like he's going to go to the World Cup with all these players playing for all these teams. And
Well, yeah. How many people are going to tap him up? How many times have you heard? I've heard podcasts of. Oh, there's a Joe Cole podcast flying about, and the amount of Man United players that approached him when he was at West Ham and sort of come to us, and he's bound to get tucked up this summer. But
I think there's a good possibility of that. Did you see the mural that they did of him in?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, where was that?
It's in Orset in Essex, a pub. I did write an article about it. I can't remember now, but yeah,
I'll
some
take that
Essex
as
pub.
fact because I've never heard of a place.
Yeah, me
But
Orset. I think it's called Orset. By Grays, not far away from Grays.
That's when you need Nigel or
yeah.
Len to tell
Let
you.
me give you a stat attack before we carry on, because
Love stats.
quite impressive. West Ham again had the possession 54% to the Foxes 46%. Here's the big one, John. Are you ready for it? Are you ready for it? Are you ready for it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sorry. Yeah, I was just sitting here.
I'll answer for him.
I was taking in the original the possession stats. You said.
Oh,
that,
right. Yeah, good. We had 18 shots, 6 on target. Do I get a woo?
Whoa.
They had 9 shots, 6 on target.
Stat attack.
And look, this is part of the problem. We had 7 corners to their 2. This is the problem. And someone sent me something today and said, do you know what? We've got one of the biggest amount of shots this season, right? We're 6th in the league. I think we've done 400 shots. How many of those 400 and something shots this season have been on target, John? How many? Go on, guess.
well, what we scored? 11 goals, is it?
12, I think.
12 goals. So let's go for 20.
It's actually 59.
Wow.
That's not so bad.
More than
It's not bad, but it's not good compared. Now, here's the interesting stat, right?
Stat attack.
Love stats.
What percentage accuracy do we have this season?
So
How many
what
shots
you're
have we had?
Well,
So
don't divide. Come on, just
59.
guess it.
I would say 30%.
You're very close. It's 28%.
Yeah,
And if
I'm
you
not bad
look,
at maths.
if you look back at the last 2 seasons, last season 35, season before that 35. If you look back, the season before that it was actually 39. So we're converting a lot more to shots on target. If you look at Newcastle and Arsenal this season, they're up in the 35s, and that's the problem. We're getting lots of shots. Our defensive record looks all right when you look against everyone else. We just can't get it in the bloody back of the net.
Our defensive record isn't bad at all.
It's not
considering
bad at all.
our defensive issues we've had up to now.
It's purely converting. We're just kicking shots waywardly, and
Who would have thought football is all about scoring goals?
I know, right? Who would have thought that?
Well, goals are fun.
Anyway, back to the game, John. Obviously, Zuma knee. I mean, let me ask you a question. We know he had a dodgy knee from when he did his ACL at Chelsea. We know that was a second medical. He seems to be holding injury all the time. Apparently, he had a problem in warm-up, and the medics gave him the okay, but his knee went again after 15 minutes.
Well, yeah, we know he's got historical issues with his knee, and he to be fair, he kind of always looks like he's been playing a little bit within himself all season.
Well, he doesn't seem to run very comfortably, does he?
He doesn't. He runs like he's injured.
Yeah, always.
So
yeah, always. You're right. You're right, George. Always. We're agreeing too much this week on the podcast. What's happened to us?
That's because you haven't got the
2 antagonists.
yeah.
Well, actually, it's normally me though.
But we agree on that.
Yeah,
Aguirre, John, came on 15 minutes.
I like
his
him.
Premier League debut.
I like him.
Do you?
He looks a good buy, doesn't he?
He looks a great buy.
No, are you being sarcastic?
No.
I
do like him.
Right in the European games, but he didn't
He's
look
barely
so
playing,
great.
Sean.
Huh?
He's barely playing. It's only his 3rd game.
I like him from what I've seen. Let
Did
him
you
get
blame
up
him
to
for
speed.
the goal though? The second goal.
No, he didn't get. He got outpaced for the second goal, but he was on the back foot as soon as the ball got played through.
Harvey Barnes is pretty rapid, to be fair.
Yeah.
I hate to say this, but I think Moyes is right. He's not ready for the Premier League yet.
Well, you think so?
No, I do think so. Yeah.
You think Moyes is right?
On this, that he wasn't. He's not ready for the Premier League yet, and maybe that was his taste, but.
So your choice, if it wasn't him, it was going to be Zuma, who can't run very well, or Dawson.
Zuma, obviously, at that point, Zuma had gone off. It would have been. I mean, we had put Johnson in. Oh, Bonham was on the bench.
Yeah, but Bonner's was recovered from a major. Was it a knee issue he had? So we haven't got.
I would have put Ogbonna. I mean, or Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson's played centre back before.
Well, I think a Gerd needs to
Yeah,
get up to
I
speed.
would not have. I
Yeah.
would have
I don't-
played a good.
Oh, and to be honest with you, it made no odds over the scheme of things.
No.
We didn't look like we were going to score in a million years, did we?
No, we didn't. We did all the
I mean,
huffing
you're
and
there
puffing.
again.
The performance was better. but
Yeah,
we did
I
all the
accept
huffing
that.
and
I
puffing.
accept that there was a lot more. It was a better performance than what we've had all
Skamaka
season.
needs to do better, in my view.
Well, I'm of the mind of Skamaka and was it Paletta or whatever? It's just like
Paquetá.
I'm of a mind that we need to find a way for them. We need to adjust to them. That's how I feel. I've got a horrible feeling that Skamaka's going to turn out to be a really good striker, comes to West Ham, and then turns into a bad striker, goes somewhere else and becomes a really good striker again. A bit like Haller did.
Yeah.
And, you know, more than the consistent thing between those two strikers is David Moyes.
Yeah. What did you make of? Let me ask you 3 players, and then I'm gonna move over to George. Bowen, we talked about Rice already. Paquetá and Ben Rama. What did you make of them on Saturday?
Well, I thought Ben Rama was pretty decent.
He was best player.
He looked lively from the highlights I watched.
He did, yeah, definitely.
He,
Oh yeah, I forgot you didn't watch the game. They were a great podcast this week.
Yeah.
but yeah, I thought Ben Rama was pretty decent. But there was one occasion towards the end where he got through and he struck the ball and hit the corner flag, and it's just like, you know, somebody really needs to work with the man on one and sort out his final ball and his finishing. And he could be a great player, but no one there doesn't seem to be any improvement. Paquetá, I think you watch him in the World Cup and people won't believe what a player he is. And who was the other one you said about? Who was the last
Bowen.
one? Bowen. Well, Bowen's just not where he was, and he hasn't gone to the World Cup. He's just not got the same form he had. But you know, you don't write him off, do you? You just.
He's not immense anymore, is he, Sean?
He's not immense anymore, actually. No.
But you just don't always rely on him. You sit him down, let him have a rest, and give someone else a go, and make him hungry, and make him go again. You know.
It's just not coming off for us at the moment, and you know, I don't know. George, I know you didn't watch it, but you watched the highlights. Is there anything you want to add on the game?
No, I mean, I actually probably look at it from a fan's point of view that didn't watch the game and just saw the result, and after the result midweek, and I'm sure it's going to be something that we come on to. I get why people that don't watch games, i.e. me, look at results like that, look at the results against Blackburn, look at results all season, the performances that I have seen all season, and I get the Moyes out. I get
vibe.
it. Yep, I get it.
Okay. Well, I was accused last week of putting words in your mouth that actually.
I think we're all accused of creating divisions amongst fan bases.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, I think fans do that on their own on social media,
Yeah.
but you know,
I think the divide is that, you know, and I see something that Nigel put up today about. Do you see that tweet he put out about the video of a player going, "Go on, mate, get on, you're doing really well," and everyone's saying like, "Get off, you fucking useless." Have you seen that on Twitter?
No.
And then the comments underneath it is like, you know, that's fans and supporters. That's the difference between fans and supporters, and there's no difference.
Well, do you know what?
Everyone's it's just opinions.
Well, if social media had been around in 1977, you know, I emailed after
You'd
the
have
game.
been 10.
Yeah, it's true. I emailed a senior source after the game and I said, you know, in 1976, 1977, a certain manager, you know, had a worse start than this. I think he only won, I forget, I did send him the stats, but was it 3 Premier League games? And, you know, we finished 17th in the old Division 1. And, you know, it would have been the easy thing to sack that man. But he went on to become the best West Ham manager. And obviously that was John Lyall. went on to win the FA Cup and the Cup Winners' Cup.
I think
got
Nigel made this point last week. So
Yeah, he did.
Slated for that.
and I nicked it and sent it to the senior source. And what the senior source said to me,
It's not
was,
like you, Sean, nicking it.
we're very worried about results, right? Because I said that was a better performance. And he wrote back to me and said, we're very worried about results, but we're loyal people. And so I did ask another source at the club, is there any chance that there is an emergency board meeting? I was told no. Is there any chance he's going to be sacked over the 6-week break? And I was told no. And I was told, could they wait till the January transfer window? And I was told no. Is there a particular target that he has to hit, or he's for the thing? I was told no. Now, that might come as disappointment. And by the way, that's not just me. The BBC have said a senior source close to the club. So, look, we all know who we're talking about. Whether right or wrong, they are loyal people, right? And you may say it's stupid. Now, I know both of you said...
Tell Zola.
Yeah, you're right. But Zola wasn't their man.
Tell Moyes part 1.
Yeah, well, but he ended his that was a short-term contract that ended. They didn't sack him. Just to be clear, George, you both said, without putting words in your mouth, that if he didn't win these 2 games, in fact, you said if he didn't win the game, he should go. Have you changed your mind?
The Premier League. I said if he didn't win the Premier League game,
Yeah.
we should have. I'm going to join in Moyes out.
Yeah,
That's what I said.
and are you?
No,
Why not?
because it's not going to happen.
All right,
And it's
okay.
just.
All right, no, but do you want him to go?
No, I don't. I can accept. I can accept us getting deeper and doing well in the European Conference League. I'm up for that. That's great. And all I want out of the rest of this season is to be safe.
Yeah.
And
Me too.
my real concern now is that we're not going to be. And I know if Nigel was here right now, he'd go, "Oh, behave. We're not going to get in a relegation battle." But I can see us getting
there's always
into
a chance, John, because
mate,
it's so
honestly,
tight.
we're like 1 or 2 points above the relegation zone.
1 point.
Forests are picking up. Our teams are
Yeah.
picking up. Wolves have just got a new manager. Teams like Villa have got Unai Emery in. They've just won the first 2 games on the bounce all season. We are going to get left behind.
Yeah.
And my concern about it all is that there's no change, no improvement. There was always going to be a time where he had to try and adjust and incorporate these players.
Mm.
And my real concern is that I don't think he can do it, because the way people are saying now, Scamacca's not looking like he's getting involved. He's looking like a shit player. Scamacca isn't a shit player.
No, he's not.
And Paquetá, you're going to people saying, well, he's not. Paquetá is not a shit player.
But he will be given time, like the BBC said. Brendan Rodgers called him a top-class manager and said he will turn things around. Declan Rice said talk of him being under pressure from the board is nonsense. So, look, people are backing him. I know that means nothing. No, George, you said if he loses the game...
I predicted we'd lose both games.
You did. You did, to be fair.
If he did do that, then I think change will have to be made. Now,
are you still of that mind?
Well, I am. I don't know what that change is, though. Is the change, as John's kind of said, a change of tactic, a change of formation, whatever it might be? I think just a change is needed. And if it is the case of a new manager, then that might have to be what it is. If he is going to remain stubborn and not,
even if it's someone like Sean Dyche, or Sam Allardyce, is there a limit?
Behave, Sean.
Well, no, I'm just saying. I'm playing devil's advocate, but is it anyone but Moyes, or is there a but in the way and saying, but it's got to be, some will say it's got to be Pochettino.
It's not anyone but Moyes.
Cool.
Yeah, but people talk about when the likes of us will say, right, let's get a new manager or whatever. people say, well, everyone thinks you can get Tuchel or you can go and get
Or
Pochettino.
Potter. Why not wait? Just wait a few months and then sack Potter
it's
and
going
pick
to
him up
happen.
from Chelsea.
Yeah, it's going to happen. But people say, oh, that's ridiculous. We're never going to get a manager. We're never going to get that manager.
Yeah,
and you're
yeah.
like, well, we are, and again, there's the people out there who say, look, we're West Ham United. We haven't won these many games. We never do this. We never do that. You never do that. But we've had 2 years of progression. We've had 2 years where we've been told that the infrastructure's getting better. We're doing this. And then we've had a summer where we've been like we've spent the third most money in the Premier League or something, or whatever it was. So I don't blame people for thinking that we should be improving, we should be getting better, and we should be more ambitious.
Sorry, someone was at my door then, so I just have to go and answer. So sorry if you were asking
That's
questions.
Okay.
We heard you click off and click on.
Yeah. I'm kind of picking up on what John's saying now. That's what I feel as well, and I said it last week. It's the fact that we had a little taste of what could be last year, and the money spent in the summer was exciting, and the players brought in were exciting, and it was, let's build on last year. Let's, become one of those top 7-8 clubs that challenge for cups in Europe every year, and we all had a little taste of it last year. And I'm still perhaps young enough. Someone's at your door as well.
My door now. Yeah.
Oh, what's going on? It's like Piccadilly Circus in here.
Perhaps still young enough and fickle enough to think that that's a possibility. So that's why I'm kind of getting a bit.
It sounds like
uncomfortable
both
with
of you
this.
sort of softened your views from last week.
No, but I've had the same point of view as last week.
Well, you did
said
say, although maybe I
said-
pushed you into it, that he should go if he lost both games.
I said, you asked me what side on the fence am I on, and I said if I had to choose a side, I'd be probably more on the side of Moyes out.
Oh, you're right. You're right. I said you couldn't sit on the fence. I remember.
Especially if we lose these 2 games, which we have.
But
Okay.
I'm just being realistic. You've said it yourself. The club have said he's not going.
Well, you
he's
say
not-
that, John. There is a circumstance he does. And the senior source has always said, and this is an unwritten rule, that no Premier League manager can survive 6 Premier League losses in a row.
Yeah, but
He's at 3. We play Arsenal on Boxing Day. That's 4. I can't believe we're going to beat Arsenal away from home with the form they've got. Then we play Brentford at home, and then we play Leeds away. Now, let's just write off Arsenal, because I just don't see we're going to get anything on Boxing Day. They're 2 big games against Brentford at home, who are doing quite well, and Leeds away. That's a tough game as well. If he loses all those, the next 3, he's gone, right? I will not make no doubt about that. He loses 6 on the row, he is gone, no matter what. He won't be given any
What
more
about
time.
5?
Huh?
What about 5?
No, 6 is the magic
'cause-
number.
Because we're going to lose against Arsenal, so does it all come down to Brentford at home?
Well, no, I think
It's
it comes
Leeds
down
and
to
Leeds
Leeds
away.
away as well. I think if he,
You look at these teams. You look at it the other day. You just see these teams. They're dynamic. They're having a go at these. Brentford have a go at us, and you're
Brentford
like,
give it a go and
you
beat.
look at the other
Who was
day,
it? Man
Man
City
United.
did they beat?
Yeah, but the game was it Fulham?
Villa beat Man United.
Yeah.
Oh, was it Villa?
And you just like you look at it and you just think, why on earth, when we watch our team, do we always look so bad against these teams?
Because
We
we
looked all
talked
right
about
against
it last
Liverpool and
week.
United, to be fair. At the end of the game, it took a while to
At
get
the end
into
of the
it.
game,
At the end of both games, we deserved something out of those games.
yeah.
But again, we couldn't score.
The only great thing is there's lots of other shit things happening, like Chelsea losing. I mean, come on.
Yeah, no, look, honestly,
Slightly amusement of that.
honestly,
Just not to us.
there's something that Nigel was saying the other week when he was saying about he's done. Moyes has had this before at Everton, and he's done this and he's done that, and that season was shit, and then the next season was great. And what I mean, his biggest risk this season is if we keep flirting with the relegation zone. If he keeps us out of the relegation zone, still plays the shit football he's serving up at the moment, which is awful to watch. If he keeps serving that up, then he'll be all right. But he's got to keep us away from that relegation
Yeah,
zone.
funny you should say that. So, obviously we're getting closer to the January transfer window, and talk is, we're being linked with everybody. Unsurprisingly, my information is we've got
Not signing
limited
anyone.
funds. The cupboard is
Yeah.
bare. We've actually got 24 out of 25 in our squad. So, there's not going to be a lot of movement because we're not going to sell most. Lanzini's not going to go. Ben Rama's not going to be sold. Souček's not going to be sold. Not this January. It's just not going to happen. There's likely to be 2 to 3 additions, and 2 of them are going to be one in for one out. The first one is obviously Dawson's going to be allowed to go up north like we promised him, and we've almost done a deal for this Brazilian guy on a free. He's a centre back on a free transfer on the 31st January. Lucio or whatever his name is from Sao Paulo. So that's he'd be fourth choice centre back. And then we've got the right back position. Harrison Ashby refuses to sign a new contract, so we're going to try and get whatever money we can for him. If we get a couple of mil or 3 mil for him from Newcastle, we're going to let him go, and we're going to bring in a right back. Now we know who Moyes likes, the Manchester United Wan-Bissaka, who cost him 50 million quid.
Wan-Bissaka.
What's his name?
Wan-Bissaka.
Wan-Bissaka, that's it.
Wan-Bissaka.
Wan-Bissaka. You could get him for 10 million quid, which I think would possibly be a good deal to get a right back, because, as you said, Kieran's
honestly, you think they could be getting for 10 mil, do you?
That's the reports.
Is it?
I reckon they probably would let him go for that.
He's played 4 minutes, John.
Yeah, no, that's surprising. Like you say, they paid a lot of money for him.
They've paid a lot of money for him.
From Palace,
and then possibly a gamble, I'm told, up front. A little gamble, either a loan or with an option to buy from Brazil. Rob Newman's been out in Brazil, and we fancy that Flamingo guy. What's his name? Gabriel?
No.
A nice Brazilian South American striker, John.
He loves that, doesn't he? He loves that, Sullivan.
Just to have something different from Scamacca and Antonio. And if you think any more is going to happen than that, no, right? David Moyes has already said.
That's more than I expected.
That's
4 players.
It might only be 2, right? It might be just 2 out, 2 in.
2 free transfers.
Yeah, you might be right. But we're not going to spend a lot of money. And also, he's been moaning how, we need to adapt to these 8 new additions. You're not going to bring another 6 additions. This is the problem, managing expectation. Everybody thinks, oh, yeah, that we need to strengthen in every area.
Look, you can talk about managing the 8 additions, but on average, how many of them does he ever play? He sits most of them on his arse.
He plays
Paquetá.
He plays.
That's 2.
He plays Kera.
Yeah, he plays him as a right back mainly.
He doesn't play Emerson. He prefers Cresswell,
which surprises me.
Downs he plays occasionally,
very rarely,
which is a shame.
He normally the only 2, say the 3 starters out of his selection, is really if you come down to it, is Paquetá, Kera, and Scamacca.
Yeah.
And Scamacca is not Antonio. Scamacca is an out-and-out striker. He's more of an Haller type player, and he just doesn't seem to be able to figure out a way to bring him into play.
Is there risk of Rice going in Jan if he has a good World Cup?
No. He will go. He will almost definitely go in the summer, but he won't go in Jan. People won't want to pay the extra money. It's overvalued.
Even if Chelsea come in at like 120 mil.
Oh well, if Chelsea come in and they won't 150 mil, then maybe But I don't think they will. Players are overpriced.
We all know that Rice is going to go for about 80, don't we?
No. I think he can go for 100.
He'll get 100.
He won't
I think he can go for 100 in the summer.
No.
I don't think he will go in January, and I don't.
Because in the summer he's down. He's got 2 years left, and in the summer, if he doesn't go somewhere, he's
yes, 2025 with maybe another option for a year disputed, but whatever. He's got 2 years, left.
The biggest.
Why would we stay in the way?
He's going to go. You've got to let him go. Because
Do you
it's-
know? I listened to the Price of Football podcast. I don't know if you ever listened to it. Do you know a little stat here that Man
Stat attack.
City make more money from selling players from their academy than they do from ticket sales?
That's because no one goes to the games.
Is that
Well,
true? I don't know how many. They
Well,
don't
No,
oversell
they're
their.
famously known for having empty stadium.
Oh, do they? I don't know what
Mm.
they're. But yeah, they make more money from selling players through the academy who end up never playing for the first team.
Well, they sold like 2 or 3
And
of them to Southampton this summer, didn't they?
well, Southampton do really well at selling their players as well. The point I'm making, I guess, is at some point, yes, we're going to have to sell Declan Rice.
Yeah,
We're
no.
not a top 4 club, and if we get 100 million, well done Academy. Well done Academy for producing
No,
a £100
I
million
don't,
player.
honestly, I don't think anyone's going to begrudge him going. It's just like, when and how do we
Yeah, well,
replace him?
Yaya Toure, who now is a coach for Spurs, was going, yeah, come to Spurs.
Yeah, I
As
think
he
everyone
was in
might.
that video I watched.
Did you see it?
I watched that video, yeah. Although
I
it
think-
did seem like he was laughing at.
He was
Tottenham rather
joking. Yeah, of course he was joking.
I do think everyone would get the ump if he went to Spurs, but
Yeah.
I think he'd probably understand that as well.
Yeah, but he's a professional, right?
Yeah.
If Spurs offer the most money and both from a contract point of view, they pay him 250 grand. He'd go where he needs to. He's not going to go.
No, I'm
Nah,
sure he
I'm not
will.
going to go there if West Ham fans will get upset.
But I don't know. When you see that picture I put, that picture of Paquetá and Scamacca after the game, like it's like on their knees holding
Yeah, I
their
saw
head.
that.
You're like, someone put it up there later and said, look, it's taken 3 months to break these two in. These players have been broken within 3 months at West Ham, and you're like, what is it? Why is it? Why can't we just
I don't know.
get these players?
mean-
They have got clear quality.
Yeah,
Why
it's
can't
true.
we
Look,
find a way
Rice looked
to
gutted,
play?
and Rice said, "Look at us as players. We haven't delivered for the gaffer." He really wore his heart on his sleeve and said, "We haven't delivered for the gaffer." And I think on this particular case, that was true. The players took more of the blame than the manager. I'm not saying that he hasn't been guilty of playing bizarre.
Who picks the players?
Yeah, I know he picks the players, but what else would you, apart from changing Souček for Downs, and I don't think that would have won us the game against Leicester. Who else would you have put out there?
Who
George?
knows? Who knows?
I'd have put 2 up front.
Who? No, Antonio wasn't available.
What's his name? The bloke who played for us in the Europe.
Mumbapa or
Yeah.
Mumbui or something like that.
Mbama or something.
Mumbama, that's it.
Well,
Because at least then, if you made a few changes, then you could say, "Well, I made the changes, didn't work." Now he just looks like a stubborn.
He's a stubborn bastard.
look, we have had a level of success playing a certain way. We don't hold possession. We play on the counter attack, and we nick goals with with Bowen and Antonio, and that's how we've kind of done it over the last couple of years. The bottom line is he's been found out. He's tactically been found out, and he doesn't seem to know how to change it. And I see the thing the other day. He's the eldest manager in the Premier League, and you would think he'd know a thing more or two how to change things around.
Yeah.
He can't beat the top 4. His history of beating the Liverpool's, Arsenal's is just terrible. And
Anyway,
he's got to adapt, or
do you know the good news?
stand
Though?
aside. Go on then.
We don't have 6 weeks of watching West Ham.
Yeah.
That is a good. Honestly, I'm quite relieved of going. Do you know what? I'm going back and forth to that stadium to watch shit performances and just going.
I did feel for you. I did say the other night. So I'm so glad I did go up there on that night where
For
the
Blackburn.
game. I was just like, oh.
It is, and you feel you must do it because you've done
I
it.
know.
You've done the
I know.
miles. Both of you
I know
have
how
done
you
it.
feel.
know
Yeah,
what
I
it's
know how
like.
you feel. You feel you buy your ticket, you keep going, and
You're
you keep
obliged.
doing it, and you feel like, but time and time again, you get kicked in the
Yeah,
nuts.
so I'm really looking. I do feel that I got 6 weeks break. But here's the funny thing, and we talked about this earlier, and I'd like to get your take on it. I'm not excited for the World Cup one little bit. Maybe it will come.
I'm sure we will get into it. hopefully. I've started watching that
FIFA Uncovered. have you?
FIFA Uncovered on Netflix.
It's quite interesting.
Yeah, it just sums it up.
It is just a reminder. You go, oh yeah.
It's
It
so
does take some of
corrupt.
the, it does take some of the magic away from a World Cup, doesn't it? Watching all
Yeah,
that
it's just
stuff.
it's unbelievable how it's allowed and continues, and but it's just. I'm sure once it gets up and running and
Yeah,
Well, I
it gets
hope so.
going,
Sunday,
we'll all get
Sunday
into it.
afternoon, we'll all be like, "Oh, we're playing tomorrow."
Yeah, I'm sure it will.
Oh, I should
It
be
will
back
be.
by then.
Though
Going
I
away
did,
for the weekend.
though I
But I'll
did
be
stick
back
a
by-
fiver on England getting knocked out in the group
Oh,
stage.
it's on Monday though, isn't it? The Iran game.
Yeah,
but
1:00.
the first game, the
Oh
opening
right,
ceremony,
yeah.
that's
But the
Sunday.
first England games is it 1:00 in the afternoon?
Yeah.
Great. On a Monday.
On a Monday.
Have you not planned that in? I've had that blocked out. My diary
Oh,
for
you see, that's
months.
how not excited I am about it. I haven't even looked.
You
when
can
they
watch it
are.
with your mum, Jules. She's taking it all. She's taking the whole of the World Cup.
Is she?
I don't know how, but she has.
She must be really excited.
She's loving it. She loves the football.
Anyway, I've been sent 4 questions, and we're going to do the shortest question time. Nick, maybe over the break, right? When the other 2 boys are back, we'll do a proper question time. By the way, it's not cowardly, right? We just can't be asked, right? And
We'll
the
do
other 2
a,
love doing it, right?
Do an England one if we're doing well.
We'll
Yeah,
do a question. We'll do a question time special.
We will do.
We've done
We'll
an
do-
England one once, didn't we?
Yeah.
I'm sure
Well,
we did.
anyway, Nigel, while he's on holiday, sent us 4, so I'm going to do this quick one just to. Yeah. Good jingle there, George.
Thank you.
John Goodman says,
Stood the test of time, isn't it?
Evening, gents. Love the podcast. This current run of form was due, but people. Oh, I can't read this. But people just had.
Do you want me to do it, Sean?
Yeah, can you do it? Because I haven't got my glasses on.
One moment, caller.
Yeah. This is what I don't
Evening,
do.
gents. Love the podcast. This current run of form was due, but people just had their West Ham and massive goggles on and didn't see it. I would take 11th and a good cup every time. Which former manager would get the best tune out of this team? I reckon John Lyall. Good with youth, also playing entertaining, brave football. Keep it up. Best West Ham podcast out there. Brady out.
Brady
Thanks,
out.
John.
Brady out.
Go on then, John.
Which former manager would get the best tune out of this team, John?
Harry Redknapp.
Oh, good call.
Sean.
Glenn Roeder.
I'll go my favourite manager for the
Pardew.
football and results. We got Alan Pardew.
Oh, Alan Pardew.
Yeah. Honestly,
Not Alan Partridge.
No. I stand by
Ah!
Alan Pardew's time at West Ham was my
Yeah.
favourite time watching.
No,
West
it
Ham.
was. Right. Mark Reaper.
Mark Reaper. Mark Creppier. What does Moyes see that we don't with Souček? The midfield is dysfunctional in possession, and that is Souček. Paquetá and Skamaka are possession players, but we have the modern-day Carlton Palmer to give them the ball. Souček out into the National League.
Well, they're not there, are they? Czech Republic.
No, they're not. They are
So-
doing some friendlies. I do think it's a bit weird, all these friendlies of national teams are not in it, but
that's nonsense.
they're not obliged to send them if they don't want to.
Yeah, they should give him and Fowl just sit on your arse now, have some time. I think we kind of talked about it before. They've
I
played
think they've been given
constant
some
football,
time
haven't
off.
they? And the likes of Rice and that. They
I
just
don't know if
played
I'm allowed to
constant
say
football.
that I believe David Moyes is in Dubai at the moment. Am I allowed
Is
to
he?
say that?
Oh.
What's he having
Is
a
he doing
break in
punditry
Dubai?
for the World Cup?
I don't know. I just told he'd gone to Dubai for a few days.
Isn't that where?
Imagine that if he pops up on
I was told then
BBC.
he can't be sacked because he's got away from Dubai.
Is he not? Is that where they do Andy Graham, Richard Keys do beating from? Is that?
Oh, maybe.
Oh, there's no. That's
But anyway,
is that-
just
that's
between
Qatar,
us and the
yeah?
8
Is that
listeners,
Qatar?
don't
Yeah,
mention it.
being.
I've mentioned it once. I got away with it, so don't mention it to anyone. In case it's a secret.
There's only 8. I think there's 10 now.
Oh, talking of that, I do remember the guy who now sits opposite me. He did come over and say, by the way, my name is Mark Bright, like in Crystal Palace.
Right.
There you go. So, Mark,
in Crystal Palace.
I did remember your name. Hello, Mark Bright. who's now opposite me in the West Ham.
Dan says, has 6'2" been bought out by Claret and Spew? As I see the board stooge has posted a Daniel Kretinsky House article yesterday. Question: is our biggest attacking problem that Bowen and Benrahma hug the touchline and need to get out closer to Skamaka? Brady out.
Brady out.
I found the interesting, like he bought a £25 million house that was 100 million in Hampstead Heath, and it's the most amazing house ever. It was owned by the Sugar Kings, Tate and Lyle. It was built in 1910, once used by a Chinese bank for communists. There you go. It was an interesting tale, and and there's no news around. So, no, it's not becoming like Karen's View. It was a very interesting tale about Kretinsky's London pad. But anyway, on to the question. John,
Yes.
our biggest attacking problem is that Bowen and Benrahma hug the touchline. They need to get close to the Skamaka.
Well, I think that's the way we're set up, innit? I guess so. You know, I don't know. I mean, I think Skamaka would do better as a 2. Are we ever going to see it? You know, I mean, he could possibly be right that they are. But, I mean, if they had a decent delivery of ball, if they could attack the wings and get the ball into him, then he might do better because he's clearly got the ability with his head as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be what, for me, that it's more about the delivery of possession.
Quality, yeah.
Because Benrahma is classic, beat 4 players and kick it into the player at the front post, like almost every time. So if you got more consistent delivery to Skamaka, I think we'd have a lot more success.
Yeah.
And that's actually Nigel sent a little stat.
I was going to say, stat attack.
We have had
loves stats.
Team touches in opposition penalty area
the
in week
4th most
16.
touches in the opposition penalty area in the Premier League last week.
Yeah.
So the players are coming in to centre. They are coming into the box. We're just not doing anything with it when it's there.
It kind of makes you, I mean, things like that and the performance at the weekend kind of makes you feel that maybe you can see there's something and we can build from it. Hopefully Paquetá has a great World Cup, comes back, does really well. I mean, let's face it, Brazil could win it, couldn't they? He could come
Well, that's
back.
what I was going to ask, actually. Your predictions. Who do you? Let's go semi-finals and then final and then win it, John.
Well, no, and I think Brazil will win it.
Who do you think?
I do too.
I
Sorry to
don't-
agree, but I genuinely do.
It's difficult to know ins and outs of how the groups will fall, but I mean, when
I hope Brazil win it only because I want Paquetá to.
I think Brazil will win it. I said I was with Georgia, so I think Denmark will have a good tournament. I think they'll be a dark horse, but yeah, I think Brazil is the favourites by far. I think we're going to struggle a bit because you look at our group.
Yeah, of course. I've written us off. I don't think we're even getting the semis.
I didn't get to the quarters.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance.
I
think we'll beat Iran. Probably
I
lose
think we'll beat
to
Iran,
USA.
but I think we'll struggle against US and Wales because everyone's going to want to beat us so much, particularly the Welsh.
Yeah, of course.
They can beat us easily.
And USA have got some decent players. I was just watching the Fulham game now. There's a couple of them in there. They've got some decent players.
Mm-hmm.
And we are not in a good vein of form.
Who's Shireen supporting in that game, Sean?
USA. No, I don't know. She doesn't really. I took her to. I think I said last week.
Yeah.
I took her to the Palace game. She went, "I'm never going again. What shit is this?" She's right. No, I back Brazil to win it as well. I've got 2 more questions that have just come in. One from Dodsey. Because they said no question time. He just messaged me on WhatsApp. All right, my handsomes. How's yous doing? I see I can't do it right. Any truth in Poch and Tuchel have been approached and turned us down? I'm David Moyes in, but he is frustrating me. So with that in mind, questions. What are the three things you believe David Moyes needs to do right now to win the fans back round? Now objects have been thrown over the wall and injured a Blackburn fan. Will the wall come down and the net go up? With no football over Christmas, when is it okay to put the Christmas tree up? And of course, Brady out.
Brady
So
out.
I'll answer the first one. There is no truth in Poch and Tuchel being approached and turned us down. So, right. John, David Moyes, frustrating. What are the three things you believe David Moyes needs to do to win round fans and win them back?
Um, give Souček a rest. Start playing downs. Give Antonio and Skamaka a run. And win some games.
All right, that's five. Good. Objects have been thrown over the wall. When will the wall come down? And
That's fine. Good at maths as well as talking.
well, no, I counted one of Souček rest and downs going on as two. So to answer the question about the wall's not coming down, mate, and no net's going up. So forget it. Just get over it. Move your seat. Don't worry about it. Right. Last question to George on that.
Hello.
With no football over the Christmas, when is it okay to put a tree up?
There is football over Christmas, Dodsy. It's just international instead of club.
When is it okay to put your Christmas tree up?
First week of December.
I agree with that. 1st December. Americans would say after Thanksgiving, which I think is like the 24th.
Yeah, that's fair enough. It's only a week before.
Yeah. Nigel has sent us a message, and he says, give us one manager. It doesn't make sense. If I read it out, each thank you. Yeah. So I think what he means is, give us one manager each of you think would improve the current situation. John.
Pochettino. But anyway, everyone seems to think that's a ridiculous ask.
All right.
I'm
not sure it is.
I'm not
George can
convinced
ask
it
you,
is.
but I need a different one.
Zidane.
Okay.
Is that not another ridiculous ask?
Well, I'm going to go. I'm going to go.
Everyone says
that was the one I was winding everyone up with on Saturday night.
I'm going to go with Potter when Chelsea sack Potter and say, all right, we're a Potter then.
Potter.
Hey, Potter.
I genuinely, I've read that his family want to be in London. You know, he's just, you know, I don't. People say, well, you're going to give him more money. Well, he's got a pretty decent squad of players. And if you tell him you're going to spend another 20, 30, 40, 50 million or whatever it is next summer, he's a player, he's a manager who'll build a team.
Yeah.
But he just demands more.
Would he consider his Tottenham ties before joining?
I don't think so. I don't think there's enough of a
Do you think he feels
rivalry.
betrayed by Tottenham?
Quite possibly.
Yeah,
I don't.
Well,
Can you imagine it? Honestly, can you imagine if Pochettino was in this league now? You'd have like Unai Emery, Pochettino.
I know, right?
You got like pretty much every top level manager that is out there in the Premier League.
So here's the last question from Stelios Kikirakou, the goat herder, West Ham voice, etc., etc. Have the board made an approach for other managers? We've already said this. No. If so, who would they pick? Dyche, Tuchel, Pochettino, or another? Now, I do know they're not stupid. There is succession planning, and they won't do it directly, but they will ask who's available because you're not a very good business.
So we're getting Dyche.
Well, you know what? I keep on saying this, but Karen Brady's a big fan and always remains in touch. He would be very good defensively. And people said earlier, and you may joke, but Dyche would be a good... He's never been given a lot of money to spend, has he?
No, but... no, he hasn't.
He hasn't.
Really, has he?
And you know, he might surprise us.
He had a poor squad at Burnley pretty much all the time, really, didn't he? He did overperform.
Yeah. But you kind of like...
But I think they would go for Dyche, and that's to answer Stell's question. I think they would. I'm not sure they would go for Pochettino.
You kind of need someone who can knows how to deal now with a Paqueta and a. I mean, Paqueta's Brazil's central midfielder. You know, Scamacca's Italy's number 9. You know, you've got to start thinking. you know,
Still answers his own question by going, to get the best out of defence, Dyche, to get the best out of attack, Pochettino. Which might be true, but I don't know. I think we're far from that at the moment.
well, it
The
looks that
one
way.
I think we really missed, and everyone missed, is Eddie Howe. And I had a bet at the beginning of the season with two Newcastle fans.
Sean,
worked for me.
when we got David Moyes, Eddie Howe was sat on his arse.
I know he was, but this is the story I'm going to tell. Eddie Howe, I had a bet with these two Newcastle fans. As I say, they both worked for me, and I had a bet. So West Ham will finish higher than Newcastle this season. I'd £10 each. Offered them a cash out today, £5 each. They didn't take it. Funny enough. But what they said was Eddie Howe, while he wasn't working, went around the world trying to better himself when he was trying to outwork, and he watched a lot of different messages and did a lot of training to become a better manager. And they say it's now paying off. And I will agree. If you ask
what
me,
did he do?
I think he's the best English manager in the Premier League at the moment. I don't know how many there are.
I think it's only him, isn't it?
Him and Potter. Well, Potter's English, isn't he?
Potters, yeah. But then didn't David Moyes do the same when he got sacked by whatever it was in Spain? Was it?
Oh,
Sociedad.
Sociedad, yeah.
He did the same thing, didn't he?
Yeah. Anyway, you're not going to get a 2-hour podcast
Yeah, anyway,
from us.
I mean, look, David Moyes is here to stay.
David Moyes.
He's going to get the sack when he's clearly dangerously flirting with relegation.
I agree with let's all agree with that at the end, right? He ain't getting sacked anytime soon, so we can name any names. The board aren't approaching publicly any people, so it's all poppycock, right? We're stuck with David Moyes, whether you like it or not. I personally believe he'll turn it around, and I hope he turns it around. And if he doesn't, then I'll support the next manager.
Yeah, and to be fair, I agree with that. I would like him to turn it around. I'd like it to do.
Oh my God, we're agreeing again.
Well,
What's happened to us?
I said at the beginning of the season, when this team gels, we're going to be dangerous.
Isn't it nice? There's no swearing on this podcast this week, you know? There's no angriness. There's no people going. It's just...
Well, say it's nice. There'll be lots of people who think it's shit.
It's just
so.
lovely.
Yeah, it's so boring.
It's
Bring
so
back
boring.
Lennon and Nigel.
Yeah.
So boring.
George out! John out! Sean out!
There you go.
Anyway, is there anything else we need to talk about before I say their goodbyes? And we play ourselves out with, and I'm going to ask you to do the introduction as her father.
I go to John, her brother, introduce it this time.
Well, before we do, I'll just say
play the full thing,
English.
Sean.
Yeah,
I
will
didn't
do.
introduce it the first time.
it's
I did.
it's
I didn't know
goodbye
I had
from
to.
me. It's George
Hey.
Goodbye, and my dog
And
saying bye
Toby.
too.
and John has been
Yeah, saying goodbye.
right. George, play us out. Say something really profound and
So,
exciting.
Sean,
and-
we're just going to all bugger off now because it's going to go off. Yeah.
Go on.
Go.
What?
Introduce your
What's it
sister's
about?
song. Make
So
it.
you're
big,
not going to
big.
stay and listen, John?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course. This is a song. The title of the song is "Can't Say." It's not that I can't say the title. It's the title of the song is "Can't Say." This is by Rosanna Bucci, my sister, John's daughter. She's about to turn 18 tomorrow.
Woohoo!
And happy birthday, Rosanna, if you're listening.
Happy
And
birthday, Rosanna.
she's gonna be a star, man. This is
Yeah.
"Can't Say" by Rosanna Bucci.
You heard it here first.
Why are you everywhere? Why can't I say no? Why is this the hardest thing ever? To just let you go. I've realized my faults. I know nothing at all. Can you please just let me know all the feelings you don't show? You're not in a place to look at me in my face and say why you did what you did. You know I was just sympathy goes. As much as I stand in the way, they're not the one I know. Won't blame it all on you, 'cause I know that it's me too. Yeah, I did this to myself, so sabotage at its best. Another one up on my shelf, just another name on the list. What even is this feeling? Because I'm so used to it. Can you see why I find it hard to breathe and why I can't believe in me anymore? 'Cause people leave. You'd think I'd be numb by now, but I can't deal with being beaten down anymore.
There you go, Rosanna Bucci on all good platforms, including Spotify, YouTube, and TikToky. Aye.
Apple Music,
On Apple Music and Amazon Music, of
YouTube,
course.
iTunes.
Download it.
Share it.
Let's get it to number 1. Bye.
Bye.